Type of answer, right? See, now some of you, what you can do, next time you find out somebody treats you like that, be like, I thought you were a Romeo, you're nothing but a Fomeo, And it's always really insulting to get called words you don't know what they mean. Fomeo, is that a disease? Like, what is she talking about? So we all have examples like that. But what I want to focus in on is, what about the people we now currently call friends? The people that we would point to and say, these are our friends. Are they really friends? Now some of you say, well, Mike, I don't know why you're talking about friendships. I got tons of friends. Just look at my Facebook page. I have 400 friends. Well, listen, in some ways, therein lies the problem that I'm talking about. Is that we've reduced our understanding of friendship to someone that's willing to check a little box next to our name and put their avatar under our friend list. Maybe they like our comment once a month. We're close. Listen, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with casual relationships or casual interactions. I'm just saying that those were never meant to take the place of true life-giving friendships the way that God designed. I spent some time looking up this topic of friendship and finding some definitions of what does a true friendship look like. And I want to share with you a few things that I found here. True friends do things like this. It says they face problems together. They make time for each other. They're sacrificial towards each other. They're genuine and expect genuineness in return. They stand by each other through thick and thin. They challenge you to be better. They believe in each other. They don't let each other settle for less. They love you enough to confront you when you're wrong. They're quick to forgive. They honor each other in small ways on a regular basis. They listen and they hear every word. They keep their promises. They stick around. I love this quote someone said. They said, a friend is someone that knows the song in your heart and can sing it back to you when you forget the words. Listen, when we look at definitions like that, and then compare it to the people that we currently call friends in our life, do we really have 400? Or is it more like 1 or 2, or maybe 0, right? Because here's the thing, you guys, I'm very concerned about this. Because I feel like what's happening is over time, we've reduced the role of friendship to be something so casual that we're experiencing a lot of the effects of isolation and loneliness in our life, but we don't even realize that it's because we have a void of true friendship because we think we have plenty of friends. But really, they're just casual interactions, and I'm so concerned. I don't know what we're going to do. If we have a 50% divorce rate now, what are we going to do when we have a generation who 90% of their communication is at a screen between them and the other person? You can't just unfriend your wife when you get in an argument. You're going to have to work it out. And so I want to take some time this morning to look at the Word and to identify some kinds of friendships that can be crucial to your life. And we're going to take a character of the Bible. His name was Paul. And Paul actually wrote 2/3 of the New Testament. How many of you guys have ever heard of the Apostle Paul? Stud, incredible guy. And we see from the Word there were 3 types of relationships that he had in his life that helped him stay strong. And I wonder if we can learn from it, if we can begin to model our relationships after these same 3 categories, if we too might have a huge increase in our ability to stand strong for the long haul. So let's look at a few of these. The first kind of relationship that Paul had is what we'll call a Barnabas relationship. A Barnabas relationship. Barnabas was somebody that was a mentor to Paul. We see in Acts chapter 9 that Barnabas was the person when Paul was starting out in ministry that actually made the connection to the apostles in Jerusalem. And he got Paul to meet with them and for them to bless Paul's ministry, and he went out and ministered to the Gentiles. And Paul traveled with them some. He continued to be someone that was pouring into his life. Listen, here's the thing. If you want to stand strong for Jesus, you're going to need to find a mentor in your life. Maybe a couple. It says this in Proverbs 13:30. It says, he who walks with the wise grows wise. Now listen, how many of you want to be an idiot for the rest of your life? Okay. Your hands raised. We've got some special ministry for you after this session. Listen, none of us do. If we don't want to be an idiot for the rest of our lives, the Bible says we need to learn to walk with the wise. As we walk with the wise, we'll grow wise. Listen, this might sound like a novel concept, But let me just tell you something. The best way to learn about life is not from your friends who are trying to figure it out at the same time. The best way to learn about life is from people that have learned how to do life well already. Listen, it's true. Our friends can be super fun to hang out with, and that's great. They may just not be the perfect people to learn about life from. You're hanging out with your friends and they're like, dude, I wonder what would happen if we lit off firecrackers in science class, you know? And you're like, I don't know. All of a sudden, there you are in math class, and you see your friend running through the courtyard. And the campus police running right behind him. He turns in the door and sees, he's like, don't try it, dude, it didn't work, you know. Okay, we'll make a note right there. You know, that's not the way we want to learn. But to find some people that are doing life well and learn from them so that we can avoid some of the mistakes that so many of us make. You know, you ask yourself, okay, Michael, who could be some mentors in my life? Mentors can be lots of people. You can actually be mentored by people that aren't even alive anymore through their music, through their books, the things they've left behind. But I think some of the best mentors in life are actually people that are alive today. People that you can look to that are further down the road in their walk with God. People that you looked at and respect their life. They can be parents, coaches, youth pastor, senior pastor, maybe a teacher, someone in your life that you see and that you value and respect their walk with God and the life that they live. And you just walk up and get some time. Say, hey, listen, I'd love to get some time with you, ask you some questions, and I'd appreciate it if you'd be willing to pour into my life so I can learn. You know, one of the best people that can be mentors for you, one of the best and most overlooked people that can be mentors in your life are parents. It's true. Listen, they're the easiest because almost everybody has access to one or two. But they're the most overlooked because most of us don't think about our parents as mentors because we grew up with them and we're very familiar with them. But listen, there's a lot of good reasons to choose a parent as a mentor. Number one, they know you very well. Now listen, I know what you're thinking. You know, when you're a teenager, you're like, my parents don't know me. You know me. Listen, they saw you since you were in diapers, okay? They know you very well. Not only that, but the most important reason is God has anointed them as your parents to be able to provide leadership and influence in your life. Listen, have you ever thought about this? Out of all the people on the face of the earth that God could have chosen to be your mom and your dad, He chose the people that He did. And what that means is that He's going to anoint them to have wisdom for you in situations, even if it's supernatural. Listen, there's times, it's the same way with my marriage. There's times, as my wife, God has anointed my wife to be able to speak into my life in a way that few people can. And so there's so many times, it's unbelievable, you know, I'm struggling with something and I just can't seem to figure out what I need to do. We'll be laying in bed at night and telling my wife, you know, I'm pouring out my heart and this is going on. She'll just look at me and be like, well, all you need to do is this, this, and this. And I'm like, me, you know. Because I realize she's right. And I'm like, how is that so easy for you? It's just God pouring through her to be able to speak into my life. Listen, can I tell you something? God will do the same thing to your parents. I know the world wants to make you think my parents are idiots. Listen, sit down and ask them for some advice. I guarantee you they're going to say a few things and you're like, I'm not going to tell them, but that was pretty wise what they just said, you know. I want them to know. Listen, God will give them wisdom for you. Not only that, but I mean, your parents have loved you through all your crazy hairstyles that you've had over time, and surely have proved some loyalty. In fact, I have a few pictures of some of these, we'll just call them experiments. Yeah, there you go. See, this guy, you know those beads that from like the 60s that you walk through the door into the room? He loved them so much that he just wanted to see them all the time. This next one here, yeah, that's good. This guy always wanted a third kneecap, and so he figured, on my head. On this next one here, yeah, there you go. That's when you think you have a friend that is going to shave your head, and he was a faux friend, because he didn't do good. And then if you don't ever want to buy your own hat, you just carve it in your head, ladies and gentlemen. And there you have it. So, parents can be great mentors. Listen, let me tell you something. Sometimes one of the mistakes we make is to go, Mike, you don't know my parents. They can be a great mentor. My dad has a horrible temper. Listen, I think one of the biggest mistakes we make when we're choosing a mentor is we try to find someone who's